you can mute your mics and keep your video off. We'll have a short presentation, and then at the end of that presentation, there will be time for some questions for our project managers and our consultants that are here today. My name is Trevor Smith. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Public Works Department in the City of Salem, and I'm going to turn the meeting over to John, who is leading the project, and he will get started on the presentation. I've put in the chat an online form. It's our Title VI Voluntary Statistical Information Form, and that's a federal requirement that we provide to you to fill out. The form is entirely voluntary. You can fill out any of it, a little bit of it, as much as you want, but the link to that is in the chat, and it just needs to go into the file for the federal government to have a copy of. Thank you for being here, and with that, I'll turn it over to John.
Thank you, Trevor. I just want to let everybody know my name is John Echeverry. I'm the project manager for the Hilfiker commercial intersection improvements. I have been working with consultants, Harper, Huff, Peterson and Regelis, HHPR. Bo Brayman is with us, also participating in the meeting. He's been the project manager. HHPR has sub-consultants, DKS and Universal Field Services, and Mason Bruce Girard for the environmental. DKS is being represented by Scott Manser. Of course, they take care of all the traffic related issues of the and improvements of the project. I'm going to give a quick scope of the project, and if anybody has any questions, of course, we have Bo and Scott to get any answers to technical issues, technical questions that I may not be able to answer. So feel free to use them as much as you want. Basically, these are safety related improvements to the intersection of Hilfiker Lane and Commercial Street in Southeast Salem. The scope of the project is simple. We are going to widen Hilfiker Lane to provide dedicated left turn lanes on both sides of Commercial and bike lanes. And we're going to upgrade the signal and install a moderate signal that can take care of the improvements and improve the traffic through the intersection. That is basically the scope of the project. As part of the widening, of course, we have to comply with some environmental regulations, and that trigger improvements to the stormwater system. Most of the improvements to the stormwater system are being done using green infrastructure, which is the preferred solution from the permitting agencies in the form of water quality swales. So on the east side of, I guess I'm sharing now the, I'm looking at the proposed improvements street map that show the improvements. I can tell you that the stormwater improvements are highlighted in green. Those are, like I said, water quality swales that are built adjacent to the curve, and also behind those improvements, those swales, we have moved the sidewalk. The improvements, the water quality improvements, we were only able to provide those on the east side or east section of Hilfiker Road, where the right-of-way was available. On the west section of Hilfiker Road, we have some treatment with proprietary water quality units. And we did that because of the lack of right-of-way. The street map shows the section of the road that is being widened in a darker gray color. So you can see on both sides how those sections are being widened to accommodate the turn lane and bike lanes. The new location of the traffic lights are in dark blue. Those will be the, as I mentioned before, the green sections are the stormwater improvements. And then we have the appropriate and future striping and layout of the streets. As part of the improvements and as part of the widening, we were required to acquire right away from I believe it's 7 properties of the 9 properties that surround the project limits. The most significant impact I can say are for the existing gas station on the east side of Hilfiker, northwest, and of course on the west side, we impacted the area, the parking lot for the Trader Joe's property, and also the parcel where the Trader Joe's building is located. There is a minor impact to a vacant lot and a abandoned house on the northwest part, and no impact to actual, only a temporary construction easement is required for the Walgreens parcel. Also on the southeast part, there is only a temporary construction easement on the corner, on the southeast corner of the Commercial Street intersection. We are in the process of beginning the right-of-way phase. Design, HHPR has completed 60% of design, and we are presenting the acquisition and to City Council in the next meeting on March 14. Schedule-wise for the project, right-of-way acquisition is going to take place on this year and the beginning of next year. We will continue with the design throughout this year and hopefully complete plans by the end of this year. And construction will take place in 2023. Budget-wise, this is of course a federally funded project. Approximately 90% of the funding from the project comes from federal funds, and 10% or more, depending upon how much money is allocated by the federal project, comes from matches with city funds. I think that's probably all I have to say about the project. Did I miss anything, Bo or Scott, that it's important to let everybody know?
John, I'd like to jump in and just say, one of the big components of this project, again, I'm Scott Manser with DKS Associates. We're the traffic engineering consultants representing HHPR, but there's also a lot of safety components to this. I'd say with the addition of the left turn lanes and the new signal, we will be planning to provide protective permissive phasing. I know that sounds technical, but it's the flashing yellow arrow signal heads. And with the new traffic signal control, we'll actually be able to eliminate all conflicts between bikes and pedestrians and those left turns. Today, there's only 2 travel lanes in each direction. And so all the left turns have a permissive green, which creates a lot of conflicts and safety issues between cars and pedestrians. And so there are going to be some really great safety related benefits with the new signal and this new configuration for pedestrian and bikes.
Thanks, Scott. And then, yeah, a couple more things. I don't know if John got you, but we are improving the ADA accessibility at all the intersections. So every intersection has dual crossing ramps that are going to be ADA compliant. So that's another big improvement, a safety improvement for pedestrians. And there's one more component right in front of the Trader Joe's property. We do have a 4 to 6 foot wall kind of along that property that's worth noting. But yeah, I think other than that, John, I think you hammered out everything.
Okay. Mr. Phillips, do you have any questions or?
I mean, I guess just a summary. What is the timeline again?
The timeline is for the right-of-way acquisition. It's this year, 2022. We will complete design also by the end of this year, and construction will be next year during the construction season, late spring and summer and fall.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this looks good. I don't want to monopolize this. I just thought it's very pertinent to Ward 3, so I wanted to tune in tonight. Yeah, looks good.
Okay.
Another thing to note is on the water quality swales, the roadside swales. I know when you go around the town, there's different types of swales, and I just want to mention these are shallow flow through type swales. So they're not the deep ones that are 1.5 to 2 feet deep with the curb protecting it. They're more of a shallow section. So that's something worth noting when you envision the water quality in that kind of that frontage area.
I guess, will this graphic be shared publicly, or is it currently accessible somewhere?
I think that we can place this street map in the city website.
Okay.
I can do that beginning tomorrow.
As they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Absolutely. Hopefully by the time we do another either community meeting or open house, it'll be face-to-face with hard exhibits that everybody can really manipulate and take a look at it and make it a lot easier to understand and communicate.
So I guess I do have a question. How will this impact, like hypothetically making a left-hand turn from commercial onto Hilfiker in either direction? Currently, that's a little dicey. It's not as problematic as coming off of Hilfiker, like the left off Hilfiker, which this clearly addresses. But for people making a left from commercial and then going onto Hilfiker, will the modernized signal kind of address that? Because currently it's a little, I don't know, it doesn't feel right.
Bo, do you want me to take that question, or?
Please, Scott. Yes.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it would be more of a capacity thing than a geometry thing, right?
Yeah, I think Councilor Phillips, maybe what you're getting at is today it's very narrow. There's no bike lanes, and so it's the geometry is a little tight there. So it is. I going to the Trader Joe's and shopping there, I know exactly what you're talking about. The signal phasing, I mean, from the signal standpoint, the signal phasing should be very similar today, but it's just going to be it's going to meet the city standard for lane widths. And with the bike lanes, it's going to feel much more comfortable to make that left turn. So those left turns will be safer and will work better than they do today.
Cool.
But it's more about the geometrics than really any of the signal improvements, if that makes sense.
Your
Yeah,
turn
cool.
radius is wider now too, right? Because
Correct.
we pushed the lane south, so your turn radius will be wider lane, plus the bike lane will let you feel a little
More space.
yeah, look like you have a little more space, but we don't encourage you to drive in it.
Under what circumstances would there be like a line to kind of guide you for making various left-hand turns? I know at the huge intersection of Commercial and Kubler, I think they have some lines to guide people with left-hand turns.
Yeah, the city traffic engineer, his desire, Kevin Hotman, typically likes when your exact example at Commercial and Kubler, there's dual left turn lanes, and so you have multiple lanes, and Kevin likes to do the dashed line to make sure that the lefts that are turning don't overlap with one another. You can install those types. It's just one of those, becomes a maintenance problem of having to try and, spend more money for the city to install those. But it's definitely something. I know Kevin, he's open to that. Sometimes when you do a project, he probably won't want to maintain it, but you can install it at the beginning to give drivers a little bit more comfort for making that left turn once you have the new design implemented. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've kind of summarized it for a new person like myself. I mean, left-hand turns are where I feel like we have most of the issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would agree with you that Hilfiker is definitely much more of a challenge today. And there has been some pedestrian related issues with those left turns, because you have the two travel lanes and you're really focused on a gap in the traffic, and then you forget about the pedestrians. And that's one of the exciting things about this new design on the east-west on the Hilfiker is we'll be able to eliminate that flashing yellow arrow. When a pedestrian hits the push button, that flashing yellow arrow, the permissive phase will no longer come up. You'll only get the green arrow anytime there's a pedestrian there.
Thank you for highlighting that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alan, you've been doing this longer than me. Do you have any comments?
Well, I think it's a big improvement, but I do have a question. I travel that quite a bit. And I know that currently the traffic stacks up on Sunnyside, sometimes in both directions. And I'm wondering, now that you have the straight and right turn lane on Hilfiker and then the left turn lane, if one of those gets blocked and traffic starts backing up on Sunnyside, I'm concerned people would pull around over into the opposing lane to get around, to either get into the lane that they prefer or maybe to go to the gas station. So is there any consideration been given to a stacking lane on Sunnyside headed north?
Sorry, I had to find the mute button. I don't recall, John, anything in your transportation plan related to the Sunnyside. I do know, Alan, that we are installing. There's basically two travel lanes, so I think a lot of the queuing in the spillback, we're not going to fix everything, but for as far as this intersection, we are going to be significantly improving that, because now anytime you have a left turn on either side of Hilfiker, you have to wait for a gap in traffic. And so
Right.
really, anytime you have a left turn, it blocks everyone that wants to either go through or right. And with the addition of a left turn lane, we've now separated that traffic, and the majority of the traffic wants to be in that left turn lane. So you're going to see significantly, probably the queues that you're used to seeing will at least be cut in half of what you see today.
But it will be better. I'm confident of that. I'm trying to think ahead to the next problem that we're creating now, or not creating maybe, but not resolving. So.
Yeah.
I think there's also a center. There's a little center pedestrian island, right, on the south Sunnyside.
Correct.
Right. It's
So
right,
yeah, that would stop you from trying to shortcut that stack.
it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd run into an island.
Mhm.
Theoretically, yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's my only comment.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions or?
I mean, I might think of one afterwards, but I'm satisfied for now. I have another neighborhood association meeting that starts in like 7 minutes. So
I am participating on that one too at 7:30, so.
Mine's at 7. One I'm going to. I'm going to Fayrite.
Yes, I am going to
Okay,
Fairfield.
Fayrite. You're probably on the schedule for 7:30. Okay,
Yes. Okay.
got it.
All right, well, I appreciate everybody's participation. Trevor mentioned that the meeting has been recorded. If you want to listen to it again, or I will make sure that the street map gets posted somehow for everybody's access. And also as part of the public information in the website, I will work with Trevor to do that. And if you happen to let some of your friends and some of your neighbors know about the project, and if they have any questions, feel free to call me, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
And for the purpose of clarification, Trevor Smith.
But yes, Trevor Smith, the Public Information Officer.
Right, right.
And where will we find the recording?
So it
It
will be
should be,
placed.
it should be in the website.
Yes, if you look Hilfiker Lane in the search bar of our website, all the information for the project will be kept there. And let me just give you a second reminder about the voluntary statistical information form. It's a federal government requirement that we provide that. And if you would like to fill it out, it's completely voluntary. You're free to do so. And the link is in the chat.
Okay. I think I'm good to go. So thanks,
All right,
guys.
thanks.
It's good to see
Thank you,
everybody.
Mr. Phillips.
Thank you.
Thank you.